Here's the target areas. Sir, that's Minnesota. Dang it, man. That's the genius of my plan. Why fight them over there? We can just do it right here at home and then get some good fishing in. Sir, the enemy is over there. Then why don't we just fly them over there, their families too, and we'll teach them how to skate. Do I have to think about everything?
I know what that is. Do you know? I'm just curious.
I don't think so.
That's Hot Shots Part 2, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah, that's the president.
I haven't seen that.
It's the best of the Hot Shots.
It is.
Well, welcome. Well, sorry.
No, that's just, I don't know why. I don't know if that's a nostalgic show for me, the movie, but I loved it growing up and watching it. Every time that came on or got access to watching it, I just loved it. I think Topper Harley in number 2 is the best. And the president. And I feel like it's the only movie that I know Ryan Stiles is in.
Well, he's also in the first one.
Is he?
Yeah, but he doesn't play a...
Doesn't have a name to his character?
Yeah.
No, I didn't know that. I the first one I've watched once and didn't really care for.
No, didn't care for that.
Wow, Ryan Stiles is in that? I didn't know.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a bomb expert or something like that, like a demolition guy.
I like Ryan Stiles.
He's funny in that. I just like how he talks about I want to buy a white picket fence, about a house with a white picket fence. You know the type. Spend that 30 years with my wife or whatever and pay it all off. And once it's paid off, I'm going to blow the crap out of it.
That's a good dream.
It's a good dream.
All right. Well, welcome to Utterly Useless, the only podcast with more kills than Total Recall. I am Brett, the President Benson of the podcast. To my right is a man who is an absolute genius. However, he can do anything possible except untie his shoelaces. The Dexter Heyman of the podcast, Timmy.
It's really hard to do.
That's Mr. Bean, by the way. It's like he's in prison and he can't get out because they tied his shoelaces together. It's so dumb, but it's so great.
To my right is a man who has dipped his hands into caramel, then gummy bears, but never the sprinkles. The Topper Harley of the podcast, Jeremy.
I forgot about that. So that's a reference to Kickboxer, right? Isn't that what or what is it from?
It's one of the Van Damme.
Yeah.
No, it's actually from, I believe, Rambo Part 3.
Oh, okay. I've never seen the Rambos. That's probably something I should put on my list to watch.
Rambo 1 is good. I remember liking Rambo 2, and then Rambo 3 is one of those, you just wanted to keep on going, didn't you?
let's just we're not even going to stop number 2. Let's just keep going. Just somebody, new story. Let's go.
Well, I mean, the interesting thing about Rambo is it's, a man who is being jilted by the U.S. government. He's a Vietnam War vet and is hated by the community and everything else. And then Rambo 3, they're just like, hey, it's basically kind of like similar to the plot of Hot Shots. They're just like, hey, somebody very important was abducted and is captured behind enemy lines. Will you go do that? And he, and that's where it starts off is Rambo is in kind of like a monastery monk area doing kickboxing with that kind of stuff.
Oh, okay.
And then they're like, and he's just like, no. And then it like hits close to home. And then, so now it's one of those weird things like, well, Rambo is supposed to be like, angry against the government. And so now he's actually working for the government to, essentially get the Mr. Bean character back. So there's a lot of similarities between Hot Shots and Rambo.
Gotcha. That's probably the main one they were poking fun at.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, with that, we will go to our...
All right, merit badges. What do we got?
All right. So I think this is an honor to get this merit badge because it's been a while. This is the movie trailer merit badge, and I have now been re-sucked in to the fascinating world of checking out movie trailers. It all started with Dune 2 as we were watching it, you, me, and my dad. And I was just sitting there just enjoying the pleasure, which is movie trailers, some good ones, some... Well, I'll have to ask you what you thought of Godzilla X King Kong or whatever. Because I remember just looking at that movie trailer and I was just like, I don't know what's going on. It looks like it's over the top and super cheesy. And I'm like, I'm not sure I'm into this. But like me and Jeremy were like, trading off like, sarcastic comments. And it was like, this is so much fun. And then I went to a movie with my brother-in-law the other day and we got in and started watching movie trailers. And it was just like, oh yeah. Oh, hey, that's one. And then, there'd be a lame one. And it was just like, yeah, I totally want to see that one. Like, I think we just saw the whole movie right there in that 2 minutes or whatever. Then went to another movie with my wife the other day. And again, just watching some movies and it was movie trailers. And I'm like, I now need to go home and like just start checking out movie trailers because, to quote Barney, it begins.
It's so true. I used to be so addicted to movie trailers. Like I had to know. I think I was on Apple's trailers website.
Yeah, me too.
Like weekly, because I think they released weekly or something like that. And then there was a time back when there used to be video podcasts that I would get trailers, sent to my iPod. Yeah, and then I'd watch them there. And so I'd stay up to date with what was out. And I still remember to this day when Matrix had their trailer, so they had a countdown for like months on their website. And it was like for number 3. And everybody was counting down in my whole nerd class. My, I don't even remember what class, multimedia class. And we're like, it's the day, it's the time. And we all gathered around somebody's computer and watched it. And they're like, oh.
Those are the days.
Those are the days when you got excited for trailers.
Movie trailer.
Nowadays, I don't have time for excitement for that.
I'll get to excitement later.
Yeah.
Up until you just said it, I forgot I saw Godzilla Kong movie last weekend. That's how long of a weekend it's been.
Wow.
Either that or is that memorable?
Yeah, that too.
It looks fairly cool.
It's just a popcorn movie. You watch it, you don't expect much, but you just go turn off your brain and enjoy.
That's kind of what I expect
like,
for all Godzilla movies.
It's right along the lines of the last Godzilla Kong movie, and it's also right there with like Jurassic World, the Dominion. So just turn off your brain. Just sit back and just watch.
There's something good about those movies that you could just not even really give your mind to. You're just like, all right, you turn off, bloop, okay, and just start drooling and watching a movie.
Yep.
Something good about that. All right. Well, my merit badge is laughing in the face of evil. I don't think Brett remembers this, but I told him this week. So this week, while my family's been gone, I decided to watch a horror film.
Oh, yeah.
And I decided to watch Hereditary,
Oh.
which is at the top of like everybody's
so many
list.
lists. It is the number 3, 4 of like, top 10 of the century.
And I want to say this to our listeners. I go in with the respect that every movie deserves to be. I want to be afraid. I want to be scared. I do not have any kind of, I don't know.
Bias?
Like some kind of like
Jaded?
mental thought of like, I'm better than this. I'm not going to get scared. Or, you do that little prep thing. Like it's okay. It's okay. Or this is going to happen right around the corner or all that stuff. Like I am there to be scared. That is my job when I'm watching that movie. So I was watching it. And first of all, that's a really long horror movie. That's probably one of the longer ones I've ever.
2 hours and 7 minutes.
And you fill every 4 hours and 23 minutes of it.
Yeah. So for the first hour and a half, no joke, it's not that scary at all. It's just a story that is a slow burn story. And you're just like, okay, it's gonna happen. Now, but because I was an hour and a half and it was almost midnight at this time, I'm like, I don't think I'm willing to stay up another 30 minutes to finish this because I'm already bored. And so I finished it. And so I will give it credit where credit's due. I did leave the moment and I watched it in the morning. And in the morning, I was just laughing so hard at it. And it was not scary at all. And even if I would have watched it at nighttime, it was not scary. It was weird. I dare say it felt a little Wicker Man-ish.
Yeah, I agree with that. There was also, the funny thing is there was a movie similar to that style that came out, I think either before or shortly after, and it starred the main kid from, not the main kid, but the one that has gotten most notoriety from Stranger Things.
Oh, yeah.
And he's in it with like his sister, and they're supposed to be weird. And after I watched Hereditary, I was like, any movie trailer, sorry, I'm going to prejudge now, but every movie trailer that seems to be like that, like there's this one called The Witch, horrible one also. Like and people will have that on their list too. Like, I'm sorry, I'm not going to give you the time of day.
I want to watch that because I'm just a sucker for horror films. I want to watch that Omen that's been, they've done a media blitz with that, which also makes me scared.
Oh, yeah.
Because anytime you do a media blitz, it's like, oh, you don't really have faith in this too much.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's a sweet spot with the media that I feel like as a viewer, you're like, okay, what you've just, you've done informational media, which is great.
Mm-hmm.
And now I know it's out there and I will watch it. But if you are like constantly bombarding me with everything like billboards or tons of commercials and radio, like Pandora, Spotify commercials and all that stuff nonstop, you're like, oh, this isn't going to be good, is it? So that's my thing about when there's too much media.
It's got a 7.3 on IMDb.
Yeah, I know.
That's the weird thing.
It's widely loved, and I like, what was it? This horror app channel, Shudder TV. I will, like, what was it? Probably about 6 months ago, they released a list of like the top 101 horror movies of all time. And, whenever they did stuff and, they'd include, European stuff. And I'm just like, I've never heard this. How could this be on anybody's list when it is like really never heard whatsoever at all? And then they started doing other stuff and like that one and The Witch and a couple of other ones are on there. And I'm sitting there thinking, where is the one that, I sent to Jeremy one night, the Lights Out? Like, where is that one? Like, it just baffles my mind sometimes.
Lights Out is fantastic. I've been debating on whether or not I need to watch it again. Where I'm like, you ever have that fear that if you watch it again, it's not going to be as good? Or you're like, oh, what was I thinking? Why was it? Why did I like it the first time around?
Mm-hmm.
That's what my fear is. All right, Criddle, what you got for?
So my merit badge is titled "It's a Trap."
Ooh.
That I set for myself. So the other day I was driving to work and I got there with plenty of time, obviously, and I parked. And I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's the same with you guys, but when I'm driving alone, I feel like I fart a lot.
Well, I could tell you last night when I was sleeping alone, that was the case for me. And I was like, oof.
So I don't know. Whenever you're alone, I feel like you tend to let out more for some
Your body's
reason.
just like, we're alone. We've been storing this all up from bottles and bottles of this. Let's let it all
It's
out.
either that or it's in the grocery store. I don't know what's going on.
That's
here.
true.
So, anyways, I right before I get out of my car, like I had to let one out, and it was just and it kind of smelled a little bit, but I was like, it'll go away. So I get out of the car and I go into work, and then 10 hours later I come out, I get into the car, and I'm just like, I set myself a trap, and I walked right into it.
That's so funny. Oh, did you roll down the windows after that?
Oh yeah, I rolled down the windows and I drove around and I was like, oh man, this has got to air out.
10-hour-old fart.
10-hour-old. It matured for 10 hours.
Wow.
It was Just like those wine connoisseurs. It was aged to perfection.
Yes.
Brad shaking his head.
I mean, I don't have that problem. I don't. My gas does not increase with the being alone. I feel as though it increases with the amount of people that are around me.
Oh yeah. It's funny though that you brought up while shopping, because this is the thing on TikTok now. People are saying that it's a phenomenon when they go shopping that they have to have a bowel movement now. Like they for some reason that's when their body tells them that they need to go to the bathroom. And so this one girl, she's like, I've been constipated for days. She does all these things, and then her husband's helping her do all these things to help move things along. He's like, let's go shopping. And sure enough, when they go shopping, it helps. And that's what everybody says. For some reason, shopping just kind of helps relieve you somehow, which is like, I don't want to use those bathrooms. So,
which is weird because, like, what was it? When I was in, middle school and high school, like I would just be near the point of explosion. And by the time I, got a hall pass, I would probably be about 20 feet away from the bathroom, and my body is just like, never mind, we don't have to go.
And you're gonna go and you're gonna like it.
Yeah, I would just like go into the stall and just sit and wait. I'm like, it's gonna happen. It's gonna end. Like I would wait for probably about 4 minutes, and like nothing would happen. I'd come back, and whoever gave me the hall pass, like, wow, that was a long one. Like, and I'm sitting there thinking. And then the annoying thing is, about 20 minutes later, I was generally in the same class, and then they're like, I'm like, oh, it's back.
I always felt, a lot of pressure to be done real quick with hall passes.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you got to go in, you got to get out.
Yeah, we can't do our normal 45 minutes. So
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, jeez.
Spin the wheel.
All right, we have Spin the Wheel, where we have 10 categories of questions. We're going to spin the wheel, decide who's going to be asking each other what. First up is Brett, and you got how much?
All right. How much? Where did I put that? All right. How much, if you had the opportunity to relive your teenage years, no alterations, you have not learned from your mistakes, whenever you try to deviate from what you normally would do, your body would kind of just go into, cruise control, and you really didn't have any choice about it. So how much to relive, from 13 all the way to the time you graduate at 17 or 18?
So you said I can't deviate?
You cannot deviate. Like, you could be like, I'm going to write a letter to my dad to say invest in like Google stock or Yahoo stock, and as you're writing it just suddenly
erases.
you either freeze in place, or you start like writing the words goo goo gaga, and then you hand it to your dad, and he's like, what the heck is going on? And he's like, and you're trying to explain, you're just like, fart, yellow, green. And you're just you can't deviate, but you're basically forced in the same course of actions that you always took.
Would you say that's like Ready Player One?
Yeah,
With, they have to reenact the
flick sinks.
The flick sinks, yes.
Yeah.
That just makes this more difficult, because like if it was like I could start back then, it'd be less money. But if I have to relive exactly all the mistakes I made, I'm like watching it and reliving it, like, oh.
Between the ages of 13 and
like when you graduated. So if you graduate, because I graduated at the age of 17,
18. Okay.
I graduated just shy of 19.
and then I got a year older the next day.
I don't know if I want to relive that. The price would have to be pretty high.
Yeah.
I'm going to go
for some reason 13 to 16 I don't know why, but I'm like, I feel like the more people I talk to, I'm the only one that kind of really enjoyed middle school.
I enjoyed middle school. I mean, there's only one class I hated, and that was gym, because our coach basically, I swear, would watch me get bullied, and he would just like do a 180 and go, well, back to the office.
Even though it's the 90s or 2000s, I'm going to say $25 million.
Wow.
If if I'm alone
Mhm.
in this time frame, can I do what I want to do, or do I still have to do what I did?
Like, you don't have to go, when you're alone, you can like, you can't like, change your monetary value. You can't like
No,
start
I know, but like,
investing in
can
this.
I be like, oh, I should have watched this instead of that?
Yeah.
Or-
yeah.
Or like, could you say like, oh, I should have gone out for the basketball team. Can I try that again this time?
No, but like in your alone times, you can,
it's your time off.
yeah.
Okay.
Okay, because it's not recorded in other people's minds of what you
Mhm.
did.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. Now this will determine everything for me.
Mhm.
Once I'm done reliving this, do I just pop back to right where I'm at right now?
Yes.
Okay.
Nothing changes. It's just
Yep.
Just
it's like a pause in life.
and just to witness all the mistakes I made. I'm gonna, because of the lack that I'm not missing out on my own actual timeline.
Mm-hmm.
I am gonna say I'd do it for about, oh gosh, this would feel like an eternity though, like in a way. Because of that time length too. I'm gonna say about, I'll do $1 million a year. So 13 to 19, so I'll do 6 million.
Okay.
I look at it as a job.
I like that. That's good.
But and then my family has no idea I was gone for 6 years.
Yeah, you just kind of like,
It's like, oh.
you're staring at the wall, and then suddenly you just kind of like jump, like, oh, I'm so good to see you guys. I haven't seen you forever. It was like, Dad, you just were staring at the wall for like 6 seconds. It seemed like 6 years.
Oh, the mistakes I made. I know them now more than ever. Gosh, that would be an interesting movie.
Yeah.
I feel like.
Yeah, I think I'm with you, about $1 million a year. So I'd probably, maybe $500,000 a year.
Yeah.
3 million, 5 million.
Somewhere around there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that just would feel so long.
I would probably do the higher end just in case that there's any like lasting psychological damage. That like, I need to find somebody to talk to. It's just like, I need to talk to, but you're 38 years old. It seems like yesterday. One could say it almost was yesterday.
You reach out to all of your friends when you come back. You're like, hey, I forgot to say sorry about that one thing I did. That was my bad. I'm like, oh, I forgot about that. Oh, well, I'm sorry.
No, I'm sorry.
It just came to my mind.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So I'm up next and I get what would you have done? Okay. If you were on a cruise ship, now you're gonna have to go with me on this tale.
Okay.
If you were on a cruise ship and while eating dinner, somebody at the table next to you falls over and lays on the table and something jumps out of their chest and scurries off into the cruise ship. What would you have done?
I mean, I think,
Not again.
I mean, yeah, I think the hard question to not ask was, what were they eating?
So yeah, what would you have done at this point? Like, you knowing what you know, as somebody who's finally watched Aliens 1.
Oh, wow. You got that done.
Now I need to watch Aliens 2.
For 2 is pretty good.
Oh, yeah. 2's better than 1. In my opinion. I would, again, I would because it would be a concern. Like, maybe they ate something. Like, how did this thing occur? Like,
Is this while we're eating?
Yeah, that's why you're eating. It kind of like hisses at you like a cat.
I'd probably spit out what's in my mouth.
yeah. Well, and then I think what I would do is, knowing what I know, is I would get as much food as possible and just stow away in my cabin and throw a whole bunch of things against the door, knowing that this thing is going to probably get a little bit larger, and just sit and stare at the air vent.
How? So we're on a cruise.
Yeah.
How many days has it been being on the cruise, and how long is the cruise?
It's a 7-day cruise. You're smack dab in the middle of the cruise at this point.
Oh
In
my
the middle
word!
of the ocean.
This is what happened on the Titanic. We figured it out. They on purpose rammed it into.
That's true. It's like the
iceberg.
self-destruct.
Exactly. They're just like, oh man, did you see that thing that climbed out of Sir whatever's chest? Oh, we don't know what it is, but you know what? I think we have a duty.
I think we have a duty.
And we're gonna go down with this ship, and the only people who will ever know what happened are us. And so
And first class passengers definitely didn't see it.
The first class pass.
It all happened in third class.
Yeah, there's just yeah. It wasn't like they were being.
That's why they left them locked down.
Yeah, they're just like, I'm sorry, we can't. We'd love to help you, but sorry. Like, yep. Actually, so I bet you it was a slow. I mean, not to get super morbid and weird or whatever, but it probably happened. The first place it probably happened was on the Hindenburg.
Oh, there you go.
And then the second place that happened was the Titanic. And the third place that happened was Apollo 13. That they were able to jettison the. There we are.
There we are. That's
There
why
we
he
are.
had to seal himself in that the shuttle, and the alien was left in there in the other one.
Yep, it
we
all
figured
makes
it out.
sense. Yep. Uh-huh.
It
We
all
solved it.
Things happen in threes, and
Yeah.
those were the 3 invasions. Right
Yep, exactly. And thanks to those brave men and women,
Mm-hmm.
they're dead.
Mm-hmm.
The aliens are dead. That's
Yes.
what I'm saying. All right, Criddle, you're up next, and you got Would You Rather.
If in life you had an extra life, like in Mario Brothers or any video game you play, you always have an extra life. So if in life you had an extra life, would you rather respawn at a checkpoint in your life or respawn where you died?
I would do a checkpoint in my life, but just out of just pure oddity, does this count like aging to death also?
Yeah.
Because even if I
The
had
checkpoint now, and then all of a sudden, I forgot to set it all these years. Oh, well.
It could be any time in your life. So let's say you don't run out. I mean, like you can go a whole video game and not die once. Mm-hmm. But if you die at the end, you can respawn somewhere.
Oh yeah,
Where would you respawn?
In a video game, that's an unfortunate
you-
situation.
Yeah.
In life, that's a great situation.
I know. I think I would I think I would choose now as my respawn point, and then hopefully age death, because I'm not. Guess what? Not taking any chances at all. Still not going on any roller coasters. That's just if you've seen the House on a Haunted Hill, you know exactly the thing that I'm probably like. I was always afraid of roller coasters, but that just added to my terror.
Well, when they purposely made those launch off.
Uh-huh.
I always wonder how that worked in the first one. For those that don't know, have you seen the new House on the Hill? Like new, I say new, but it's like
2000.
90s, 2000.
No.
99.
So what it is like this roller coaster that you're on, and there's what do you call them? It's not a car. It's a
train or I don't
whatever. The other, there's multiple seating things, right? I don't know what to call them.
know. Yeah.
And the you see the one that goes before you, it gets launched off the track completely, just launches off. And so you being behind it, and there's dummies on that, and then you being behind it are like, oh no, we're next, and then the track fixes itself in time for you to go on it, and then like it just adds to the excitement of it. I was just like, man, you'd go through a lot of those little trains or whatever you call them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I forgot what we were talking about. Oh yeah. I would choose. Yeah, I would. I mean, I think I'd talk about it with my wife every year. Be like, okay, what do we think? Was this year a good year? Do I need to go back? Need to go, like, what do I need to do? Or maybe on a monthly basis, like, hey, is there a reason last month I need to go back to fix and adjust anything?
Oh yeah, you got a point. I like that.
Just strategize.
Mm-hmm.
And then be like, okay, save. All right, Brett, you're up next, and you got random question.
All right. So because I liked it so much, I'm gonna do. Which franchise would you wipe off the face of the earth again? So it has one movie, and then all of the preceding movies no longer exist.
Okay.
So again, this is Kiss, Marry, Kill. I'm more interested in which franchise you plan on killing. So it is the Star Trek franchise, which it does not take place with the original TV series, but the first movie.
So the originals, like, are you talking about all of them? Just so I know, like.
So for example, so not the original 60s series of Star Trek, but starting from the first movie, because then eventually that spawned the Next Generation, which spawned this, which spawned this, which spawned this.
That's what I was wondering.
The Star Trek franchise, the Star Wars franchise, meaning the only movie that exists is A New Hope, and George Lucas was just like, you know what, I'm content.
Episode 4 done.
And then, or the Aliens franchise, and I like that you barely watched the first movie of Aliens. And I basically made this question for Tim because I think there's a couple things that you don't care about. But I was trying to figure out what, and I love that you like gasped at just the pure idea of the motion picture Star Trek movie.
Now, I imagine because you say that it didn't impact like the Star Trek TV shows. Star Wars, does that impact the Mandalorian?
No, it does. So, like, Mandalorian doesn't exist because it was one of those. That was fun. We did one movie. All right, now let's just walk away and never think about this ever again.
Okay.
And the same with each franchise. They did the first Alien movie, and they're like, that was fun. Let's never do anything ever again with this.
My mind is immediately going to things like what spawned what spawned off of these original series, and also what influenced other movies too,
like Galaxy Quest.
Yes, or if you don't have Aliens, you don't have the end of Spaceballs.
Nope.
No, you'd have wouldn't you have?
No, it's
because John Hurt reprises his role as the same guy who had that happen to him in the first Alien movie.
Yeah, that's true.
So you'd still have the end of that.
But if you kill the Alien friend, well, yeah. But Aliens 2 is better than Alien 1.
It is. It is.
Have you seen Aliens 2?
Yes.
Okay.
So maybe you're right. Maybe it wouldn't have been spoofable because it didn't spawn the second movie.
Mm-hmm. Well, I have only seen Aliens 1, so I'm already in this realm for that.
I'm going to kill the Aliens franchise. I think there's too much that spawns off of Star Wars and Star Trek that I don't know if I left Star Trek 1 just as is, the world would be so different. There wouldn't be a lot of Comic-Con probably. There probably wouldn't be, a lot of stuff that spoofed it.
I wonder if they get credit, or maybe I'm just not fully informed, if Star Trek was the reason, because Trekkies used to have their conventions. I wonder if they were the first nerdy convention.
Yeah, because I think, what was it? I want to say this past year or 2 years, a couple of years ago, was the 30th anniversary of the San Diego Comic-Con. Because, and way back in the day, it basically was a comic convention. And then in the mid 2000 or the 2000s, 2010s era, it became what it is now, which is
TV also, movies.
Yeah, I got to go with Alien. Alien is not a bad movie. Like, the first one is a good movie. And if they had stopped there and did nothing else, it probably nothing would really matter.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you. I think,
two is definitely better than 1, but I think I could probably live without that.
Yeah,
because I think there are some good Star Trek movies, and then they launched a bunch of television shows and all this other stuff. So and then Star Wars, it's just a global phenomenon. It would have been weird if they had just stopped at A New Hope and been like, "There's nothing else."
Well, the question would Star Wars have been big enough for Spaceballs to exist to spoof it also at the same time? Because you brought up a good point about the Aliens. possibly not having an ending. But if Star Wars wasn't the phenomenon that it was, and we got Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi, would it have been big enough to spoof for Spaceballs?
No.
I mean, I think a couple were already out before Spaceballs was made, right?
Oh yeah, all three of them,
Oh, all
the
three of
original
them were?
ones,
Okay.
because I believe Spaceballs was 88, 89.
Oh yeah. So yeah, I'm gonna axe the Alien franchise because too much spawns off of the other two.
Yep, I'm with you. Aliens as well, just because of the ripple effect.
Yeah, the way I did it is I was just like, hey, I can't allow. I mean, just Star Trek the motion picture. Like, we need Wrath of Khan. I need Undiscovered Country. I would like. I've grown a fondness, not during my teenage years, but I've grown a fondness to the next generation and whatnot. And I'm like, I can't just have that be a one and done. Even though you could think about it as two different ways. It was so bad they're just like, hey, we can't do another one.
And I mean, that could have honestly happened.
And then, Alien, they're just like, that was a fun idea. Well, but we didn't really set it up for a sequel. So, and then, Star Trek or Star Wars, it could have been like, George Lucas sank all of his last money into this. Like, oh, yes, it's profitable. Walking away.
Now, you don't have to tell me at all, but of the sequel, because I'll watch it eventually, I'm sure. Of Aliens, but my opinion is, or my thoughts is like knowing in advance that there was already going to be a sequel, that I was like, it's probably in the cat. That's my thoughts. But, and then what I was going to say, I was going to ask you guys, if you had to pick one Star Trek movie is the best Star Trek movie of all time, is like your desert island one that you take with you, which one would you take with you?
I love Undiscovered Country, but the Wrath of Khan is the Wrath of Khan. And then every so often while on a desert island, I could just yell, Khan.
Yeah, I'd probably go with, I mean, if we're going original, like Star Trek,
Any Star Trek.
yeah, I'd
movie.
probably go Khan, Wrath of Khan.
See, and I'd probably go with the Chris Pine first one, just because I watched those older ones with you, Brett, but I don't remember them so well, and I don't remember like being so like, yeah, these are great.
I mean, Khan is up there as one of the best. Undiscovered Country is good. I don't mind Generations.
No, Generations isn't bad. The one I don't understand the love for is 4 with the whales. Like, so many people a lot of people love that one and hate 5. And to me, 5 is not that bad. Like, it's not good, but it's not that bad. But, A Voyage Home is, I don't know. It's just so slow.
And then, I mean, as far as like the Next Generation ones, I liked First Contact. I thought
First
that
Contact
was
was great. Like the creepiness of the Borg.
Yeah.
What was the one, and that might be in the First Contact? What's the one that's like Next Generation with the Borg? I think it was where, there's a girl that's a Borg.
Oh, that's 7 of 9. She's in Star Trek Voyager. She never made it into a movie.
No, but there was one movie.
The Hive Queen.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the First Contact.
Okay, yeah, I did like that one. All right, my turn, and I get what if. Okay, what if someone shows up and they will offer you to give you $2 million for every finger you cut off, or $1 million for every toe you cut off? What would you cut off?
Both pinky toes and maybe a pinky finger, maybe.
To get $4 million there?
4 million.
I'd probably cut off the toe that's next to the pinky toe on both feet.
Okay. For stability reasons?
Yeah. I think I use my fingers all the time. Toes not so much. So those two. I feel like the pinky toe gives you some more balance at the feet. So if you take away the middle closest to the pinky toe and the other one, I mean,
I mean, the only reason why I say that is I swear both of my pinky toes are like deformed looking. So
I'm looking at my toes right now. I could cut off, I think, the ring toe, the middle toe on both. Get formula in there.
Okay.
That'd
I'm satisfied with $2 million.
that'd be equivalent to having the I love you with my foot.
yeah.
So okay. All right. And then Criddle, you're ending us with Could You Fight It?
With the help of Danny DeVito,
Okay.
could you fight the Cobra Kai dojo?
Which one? The Cobra Kai TV series dojo or the movie?
The Cobra Kai TV series dojo.
I think
Remember, you get Danny DeVito.
I would say let's
Danny-
harness the penguin, Danny.
Yeah, I was gonna say, does he have the cute umbrella or?
I mean, it's just Danny DeVito, but he can have his umbrella. He can have a Jersey Mike sandwich. I mean, whatever.
No, I mean, because even if my guy Hawk is no longer on Cobra Kai, like the female in the dojo, she is brutal.
Give her to Danny.
She's the one that like dated Danny for a second or something, right? Okay.
And well, and then like, not Kreese, but the other guy, he just started filling like Cobra Kai up with douches, like that one Asian kid who got his butt beat up by whatever. Like they didn't have any skill.
Is it before the rejects or like our
This is where season 5 ended.
I don't know where
their
that is.
dojo. So it still has the Tory girl.
Mm-hmm.
It has.
Is that the season that like what's his name falls Miguel or whatever? his name-
No,
Miguel-
Miguel falls in the end of season 3, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah. That's way after this. Yeah.
Okay. Then I don't know the
Tori is just too tough. Like she is.
I'll take her.
Give her to DeVito.
Nah.
I'll give it the old college try.
Cool.
No, I think I have a good chance. I got
With DeVito by your side.
I can throw DeVito. He's gonna put his arms out and we're gonna do that whole spinning thing. There we go. Knock everybody out that way.
I mean, the best thing is if Danny DeVito was able to channel his character from It's Always Sunny. I mean, he would probably just annoy and scare everybody to death.
But he could strip down to his boxers and fight.
Oh, Danny. Yeah, I feel like I'd still stand a good chance with them.
All right.
With Danny.
Would watch.
I'll pass. I fear as though I would probably end up with like some sort of like neck brace and like paralyzed from the neck down.
Worth it.
But I'll get arrested because these are teenagers.
What happens in the dojo stays in the dojo.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. We are going to continue our series of determining the most rewatchable sports movie of all time. And so we are on our fourth installment now of the bracket. So it's still the first round.
First round, region 4.
Region 4. There we go.
I figured it out while I was editing the podcast last week. I was just
cool.
like, it's regions.
Oh, okay. Yeah, region 4. So here we go. So first up is Cool Runnings versus Mr. Baseball. Now, I barely remember Mr. Baseball. I just know it's the man with the mustache, Tom Selleck.
Yeah.
Some people say, you can't believe Jamaica, we have a bobsled team. Love Cool Runnings.
Cool Runnings is great. I saw something. So it's funny. I'm old. And I realize that, and I have Facebook, and that's the thing I use for social media.
Mm-hmm.
But I follow this one group that's all this guy does is he puts 2 movies up there, and you're supposed to select which one you take and never watch the other one again. And it was Cool Runnings versus Sandlot, and I was like, oh, those are 2 90s like icons, yeah. And I think I had to choose the Sandlot, sadly.
I'd probably choose Sandlot over Cool Runnings.
But Mr. Baseball was an awful movie. I don't remember the story at all. I just remember Tom Selleck. It takes place in Japan, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Cool Runnings is just awesome.
I just love how just the story of Cool Runnings.
Mm-hmm.
It's so rewatchable. It's comedic. It's funny. I like John Candy's in it. I mean, it's great. I could rewatch that. Cool Runnings for me.
Cool Runnings for me.
Yeah, I don't like Cool Runnings, but I'm going to go for it because Mr. Baseball is not that good of a movie.
Nope. All right, next up is For the Love of the Game versus Kicking and Screaming. So For the Love of the Game, which one's that one?
That is Kevin Costner. He is playing, you are going throughout his life, going back and forth between the time that he is going to be pitching his last game.
Oh, that's right.
Against the Yankees. He's pitching a perfect game. And then you kind of go into his origin with his first love, with his first, with his either first girlfriend / wife. And you're just watching as he went from a hot rookie phenom to somebody who kind of got lost in the mix. And, he's now dating because, it's not even Hollywood. It's kind of like a sports thing. Now he has found like some 15-year-old younger girl that sees him for the way he was seen by his original girl, I believe. I can't remember. It's been a while. But I truly enjoyed For the Love of the Game. I feel I found it fun. And Sam Raimi, he directed it.
That's what I just noticed too.
Wow.
I was like, I didn't see that coming.
But I appreciated For the Love of the Game. Kicking and Screaming. It's Will Ferrell over Will Ferrelling, and Will.
Well, at least he's like Will Ferrell has that side of him where he is like not incompetent, just not confident in himself.
Mm-hmm.
And that Will Ferrell is a little bit more enjoyable than the Will Ferrell that is like demanding and in charge, I feel like. So it's a little bit better version of Will Ferrell. But didn't me and you, Brett, see For the Love of the Game on a early release?
Nikki, when she was working at Media Play, oftentimes she would get pre-screeners as I guess comps or benefits or perks of working there. And Yumi went to go see that. I saw what is it? I saw a couple of them, and I was just like, I'm so glad I got this for free because this movie sucked. And I was one of those. I almost didn't want to see this movie because whenever I think of a baseball movie with Kevin Costner, I was just like, oh, it's going to be Field of Dreams again, or it's going to be Bull Durham because both of them have Kevin Costner, and I think those are the two most overrated baseball movies.
So which one are you going to go with, Brad? I'm curious.
I'm going to go with For the Love of the Game. I really enjoy it.
Criddle, what are you going with? Have you seen For the Love of the Game?
I want to say I have, but I don't remember it. And then Kicking and Screaming, I mean, it's just Will Ferrell kicking and screaming. So
with Robert Duvall.
So I will go with For the Love of the Game.
I don't remember Kicking and Screaming. Like both of these movies, like my brain was like deleted. So I'm just gonna go to the comedic one. I'm going Kicking and Screaming because I can't remember any of them for the life of me. All right, next one is Ladybugs versus Air Bud. This is
this is a no-brainer.
This is 90s though.
So Air Bud?
Exactly, Air Bud, man.
I have never seen Air Bud. I've never wanted to see Air Bud. And Ladybugs has the best, like anybody who has seen She's the Man, just imagine that movie, only better. And that's what the Ladybugs is.
I have to agree. I mean, I think I've seen Air Bud. It's one of those movies I think I saw so long ago, and I saw it like on TV, on the Disney Channel or whatever, and I was like, oh, I'll watch it. I'm here. Because it's the 90s. You don't have much to watch. So, and I mean, I think it was entertaining enough, but I'm going Ladybugs.
I'll give Air Bud a little nod.
Have you seen Ladybugs though?
No.
Oh. You missed out.
Maybe next week I should bring Ladybugs for you to
Watch
let you know, and then you can have, picker's remorse.
Watch it with the family. There's only one part where you might want to fast forward.
Well, there's one part, like, I've watched that so many times. It took me being an adult and like really figuring out what's going on, where I'm like, holy cow.
Yeah.
Can I change my vote back to that then? Because I didn't know Rodney Dangerfield was in it.
Yep, Rodney Dangerfield.
I love Rodney Dangerfield.
And the dude from
Switch it.
Okay, I'm gonna go back in and switch it. Make me. I'm gonna gripe for.
I'm glad that picker's remorse only lasted like about a minute or so.
Yeah, Rodney Dangerfield is hilarious in that movie.
I like Rodney Dangerfield.
Yeah, he's great. I mean, I've seen a couple of Rodney Dangerfield movies, but I would definitely say, and a lot of older people disagree with me, but this is probably his best that I've seen. I don't know, Brad, if you feel differently. I don't like the college movie that much.
The college movie is odd.
I'm trying to remember what other movies I've seen.
I mean, he was in Caddyshack, which was already on there.
Yeah.
There's a couple of them.
I like this more than Caddyshack, though.
Oh, yeah.
That's just because of the time and the era that I watched this in. Is more nostalgic for me than Caddyshack. And also, I was a kid playing soccer around the time it came out, so I had that going for me. All right, next we have Longest Yard versus Happy Gilmore. Now, is this the original Longest Yard?
I don't know, because then we have in a previous bracket.
We had the original Longest
Oh,
Yard.
yeah, I think we had both. This is two Adam Sandler movies.
Adam Sandler versus Adam Sandler. I'm sorry.
This is a no-brainer for me.
It is.
It is.
So go ahead.
It's the Longest Yard, right? That's what you're going for.
Yeah.
How'd you know?
Happy Gilmore.
Happy
which
Gilmore.
Just tap it in.
Just hopefully, like it's been announcing that they do a sequel.
I still don't know how I feel.
I'm excited, but I will choose to ignore it as a sequel, depending on the quality of the movie.
I heard it's going straight to Netflix, so I don't know.
Adam Sandler hasn't been doing anything great that's going straight to Netflix.
That's why I'm worried.
I mean, Hubie Halloween alone is just awful.
That's why I'm nervous.
All right, next one. Ooh, two baseball movies. Trouble with the Curve and Major League. So Trouble with the Curve is Clint Eastwood and Amy Adams. Major League. This is Major League 1. So I guess this puts it a little bit more. It's a more fair one. With Wesley Snipes is in this movie, right? This in the first one he plays.
Yeah, he plays Willie Mays Hayes.
Yeah, and then Charlie Sheen and man, what is the catcher's name? It's a longer name.
What is his name?
He's in all the sniper movies.
Um,
which I do appreciate the sniper movies. They're fun. Anyway, so Trouble with the Curve. Krill, which ones have you seen?
I've seen Trouble with the Curve, not Major League.
Okay.
But Trouble with the Curve's got Clint Eastwood, Justin Timberlake, and Amy
Justin's
Adams.
in that?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I don't remember.
It's got, what's his name from Matthew Lillard as well.
Matthew Lillard's in Trouble with the Curve?
Yeah,
Yes.
that's right. It's Freddie Prinze Jr.
And John Goodman.
No.
No, it's Clint Eastwood. I believe it's Freddie Prinze Jr. No,
No.
it's not Freddie Prinze
Justin Timberlake.
Justin Timberlake.
You're
Sorry,
thinking of
yeah.
Summer Catch.
Sorry, I'm thinking of Summer Catch. Yeah,
Which I don't even know if made the list.
No,
forgot
I don't
about
think it did. But that also has Matthew Lillard in it.
Yeah,
too.
it does. That's why I thought of.
Trouble with the Curve. I just don't love the original Major League as much as I love Major League 2. And like, to me, Major League 2 has so much more comedic moments in it. And I feel as though the first Major League has comedic moments, but it's very drama heavy.
Yes, it is.
And Trouble with the Curve is kind of drama heavy, kind of fun. Not the best movie in the entire world, but just when I don't know, I probably will, contact the show on whatever platform that you'd like to, email the show at whatever the email is, and just tell me that I'm wrong. But I'm just going to go with Trouble with the Curve.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I honestly don't know. I'm going to go with Major League just because it's more familiar. I remember the story way more than Trouble with the Curve. I think they're both about equals, and they'll both get eliminated in the next round.
I like Trouble with the Curve because, it's about Clint Eastwood, he's going blind and he's a scout. And he's also trying to reconnect with his lawyer daughter. And they end up going and trying to scout this supposedly good hitter who turns out to be a dud. So I've never seen Major League, so I'm going to go with Trouble with the Curve.
Alrighty. Either way, it was fine. All right. Mystery Alaska versus Angels in the Outfield.
Ooh.
Mystery Alaska was a fun movie.
I did like it. I liked it. And I think the weirdest part about that movie is the fact that Michael Myers is in it.
Yeah.
Mike Myers.
Mm-hmm.
Not Michael Myers, obviously, the killer.
Wait.
They're playing hockey and he's out there. I mean, he's got his hockey mask, right?
Well, no, that's
Jason. That's right.
Mike Myers
That's
would
right.
have Michael
William
Myers
Shatner.
would have William Shatner's
Yeah, that's right.
face painted.
That would be funny. That was weird. I mean, he's only in it as a commentator during the game, but still, it's weird that he's in it.
So wait, what you're saying is Mike Myers would be in it, and then suddenly it would be
They're trying to hit the puck around. And this is
Jason's the goalie.
Yeah.
Okay, I now need this as a thing.
There is a TikTok influencer, whatever you want to call them, that. So there's a couple of them that they like dressing up as those people. Like they have Pennywise, they have Jason, they have Freddy Krueger, they have everybody, and they all get together all the time and just do silly videos, like in a convertible, listening to like music and all that kind of stuff, driving down the strip or something.
Oh, it's gonna be great if they had like a midget dressed as Chucky.
Oh, that would be cool. That would be cool. But no, I love it, especially the guy that does Pennywise. Like even Terry Crews got into a video with one of them with Pennywise, and Pennywise is in the car singing "Taking Me Downtown." I don't know what that song is. I don't know if you know. It's a girl song. "Taking Me Downtown." I don't even know what it is. Yeah.
Yeah. Mystery Alaska's good. Angels in the Outfield. I love that movie. That is a fantastic movie. And it was, I guess, the first time I ever saw Joseph Gordon-Levitt in anything.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, he went to play Tommy on Third Rock from the Sun.
Which is also now difficult to find to stream because it's like, I want to watch that movie.
I know. I bought the first 4 seasons on DVD, and I can't find season 5 or 6.
Once Tommy goes, like, because Joseph Gordon-Levitt wants to go to college in real life, once he does that and comes back as a guest star almost on every episode, I feel like it's just like, show's not as good as it was. And anytime somebody leaves, it just throws off the groove. But Angels in the Outfield is by far the superior one. I love them. I enjoy them both. Angels in the Outfield, if I find that digital or, probably digital, I'll buy it.
I got to go Angels.
You got an angel with you right now. Isn't it sad that Danny Glover, I feel like, is just not... I mean, he probably just retired. We saw him in Jumanji. But like, there was a time where Danny Glover was in almost everything, I feel like.
Yeah. Operation Dumbo Drop?
Yep, that was one of them.
Weapon.
Yep, Lethal Weapon. Was he in Lethal Weapon? Lethal Weapon. Sorry, I was thinking
Loaded
Logan was
Samuel L. Jackson.
Yeah, I was like, wait a minute, that's a different guy. All right. Ooh, this is, I feel like, a good one. Remember the Titans versus $1 Million Arm. I was thinking $1 Million Baby. I don't know what $1 Million Arm is.
$1 Million Arm is based off of a true story about how I think it was the Detroit Tigers, because at the time they were, it was the Pittsburgh Pirates, were desperate to find somebody that, because everybody was importing talent from, you had Puerto Rico,
John
you
Hamm?
had China, Japan. And so they're just like, you know what? I bet you, do you know where there's a country where there's lots of people? India. And they're like, let's find if we could find somebody who could throw a fastball like 100 miles an hour, and then we can teach them how to play baseball.
Yeah.
Like cricket players or something.
Yeah. And so John Hamm was tasked to do it. He was the talent scout. And it's based off of a true story where there's actually, I believe it ends up with 3 people that were, good enough to be signed. I don't think they were ever, if memory serves me right, I think only one of them was good enough to make to the major leagues for kind of like half a day.
Mm-hmm.
And then he got shelled because just because you can throw 100 miles an hour doesn't mean you're good.
Yeah. Well, because I've never seen that, I mean, I'd be tempted to even go, because we're talking about the most rewatchable movie.
Mm-hmm.
And Remember the Titans is not the most rewatchable in my book because of the social climate and all that. Like it's just a lot to take in. And
I feel like it's rewatchable, just not like back to back rewatchable.
Yeah.
It's more like yearly.
Well, and $1 Million Arm, I'm not sure if you've ever saw, what is it? I think it's McFarlane USA about I think is
Oh,
it
I
Kevin
haven't seen it.
Costner
Yeah.
or whatever with the track team or whatever. It's just imagine a nice feel good Disney movie, and that's what $1 Million Arm is, because it is also a Disney movie.
yeah, I saw that on the cover there. I'm going to listen to your guys' votes before I weigh mine.
I'm gonna go with Remember the Titans. I quote it a lot. I love it. I grew up with it. It's the time when I was playing football. I'm all for it. And I could rewatch it. There's more rewatchable baseball movies in my opinion.
There is. I mean, Remember the Titans is a classic movie, but I don't see it as rewatchable. I see it as, I think what you said, maybe watching it once a year, maybe even like once per every 2, maybe even 3 years. And I remember the first time when you had me watch it, Jeremy, is as I'm watching it, it's supposed to take place, in the 60s?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, do you know the most distracting? There was 2 things that kept on distracting me about the whole movie. Is first off, there's these clearly 20, 30-year-olds because of their body size or whatever who are playing teenagers. And I'm like, that was distracting. And then it's supposed to take, and then you're like, that wasn't like the body size of like most football players professional football players in the 60s.
Yep.
And then when you looked at the gear that they were using, it was like, wait a minute. They're using modern NFL gear or football gear as in the 60s. And that massively distracted me too. So I don't know. I found Remember the Titans a good movie, but there were so many things about it that really distracted me. $1 Million Arm is just, your Disney feel-good sports movie of the year that they were releasing consistently for quite some time. I guess I'll go with Remember the Titans, but
Isn't this crazy? I'm pulling up the big guy
mm-hmm.
from Remember the Titans, and he is just absolutely jacked now.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
But I'd love to see his buff version with his sense of humor.
Yeah.
Because obviously don't know if he's ever been in a movie, but yeah, just for all those that are wondering what we're talking about, it's just the big white guy from Remember the Titans.
Louis Lastic.
Yeah, that's it. Got all jacked up and buff.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So sorry, where did you land on
I'm
that?
going to go with Remember the Titans just because I don't
Fine, I'll join you guys because I don't know. I don't really think it's that rewatchable, but all right. I feel like these two are the exact same movie in a way. I've never seen.
I think they are.
So close your eyes, roll the dice, and go.
All right, Cinderella Man versus Seabiscuit. Now, I've never seen Seabiscuit. I've never really wanted to see Seabiscuit. But my guess right now, before we talk about it even further, I would probably pick Seabiscuit over Cinderella Man because I did not like Cinderella Man. It was Russell. That was back when I thought Russell Crowe could do no wrong.
Yeah, well, that's like when he was getting like all these heavy hitters, just knocking him out of the park.
Yep. So I'm gonna do it. I'm just gonna go Seabiscuit. You guys do whatever you want. I just did not like Cinderella Man.
I mean, Cinderella Man's an interesting story because it takes place like in the 1920s or whatever, and I'm always pro. Like, remember nostalgia. Don't kind of change it for a modern audience or whatever. But Seabiscuit is basically almost the same thing too. I'm not a boxing person. Like I think last week when we had Rocky, I can't remember if you guys voted for. I remember not voting for Rocky.
I think we all voted none for Rocky.
And so, I mean, I'm also not into, because that was the other thing from like the 1920s and stuff like that, is people avidly into boxing. And I remember, trying to get into boxing, as a kid and as a teen, just like watching it on TV. And I'm just like, I don't like, all they are is just like punching each other with gloves on, and they're both very muscular people. And how did that guy win? Because I thought, according to Mike Tyson's Punch Out, you win if you knock him out.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to go Seabiscuit.
I'm just going to go with the little horse that could.
All right. Seabiscuit moves on to a sweep.
Could it go all the way?
No.
No.
But could it? No.
All right. Well, that wraps up Region 4 of Round 1. When we come back, we'll go to Region 1, Round 2.
Ah.
And we'll probably have that whole region hammered out, I imagine, on that episode. So we're getting closer to the end. One thing I just realized while talking about this, I don't think we ever said Teen Wolf in one of these. We never had Teen Wolf into this list. Are you thinking of Marshall and How I Met Your Mother? He has a Teen Wolf.
He has a Teen Wolf.
As the ref too. I'm sorry, sir, but you're out of here. It's just a really nice ref. Oh gosh. That I like, that's the one good thing about movies and all that and TV shows is all the stuff that spins from them.
Mm-hmm.
And I've realized that, yes, it's like a, what do they call it? A funnel. For sure, at the very top, you need to have watched whatever the original piece to get, and then you have to have watched the second show that refers to the first show. But when you do, it just works out. I like it. I appreciate it. Like, I mean, just all the stuff from Community and all the shows that do spoofs on other things. I appreciate you. I see you.
And I see you. You're a fine nurse.
Oh, well, thank you. All right, let's move on to recommendations. All right, Brett, do you have anything to recommend us this week?
So I just barely, with my brother-in-law, watched Late Night with the Devil. It is not a huge budget movie, but oh my word, it's enjoyable. Is it scary? No, I didn't think it was, but it was really done well. It is kind of a found footage type of a thing. Basically what it is in the 70s, the main guy, there was a TV show, I can't remember what it's called, but the main guy, Jack Delroy, he is going up against Johnny Carson, and it's, Johnny Carson number 1, everybody else number 2. And so he's constantly trying to, make improvements. It kind of gives you the inside Hollywood, like true life of him before they start showing certain things. So they give you like the whole background. And then they're like, okay, for the first time ever, we found the original footage that was aired in the 70s, but also we have the cameras were still rolling, and we found the archived camera rolls of when they went to commercial break. And so you would see, it basically looked like a 1970s show on TV. And when you're in the movie theater, it would shrink it down to the standard 4:3 ratio.
Mm-hmm.
And then when it was the cameras rolling, it was in black and white, but it was full screen. And it was really quite a fun show. Sadly, I will go on a limb. So far, from what I've seen in 2024, best movie I've seen in 2024 so far.
Wow.
Will it make the normie list?
I think so.
For horror, best horror.
Mm-hmm.
But according to the commercial I saw the other day, that Omen movie is the best horror of the year. So
Oh.
I love when it's early in the year and they always say the best of this genre of the year. And like, come on.
January
Is it though?
January 2nd, the best horror movie of the year. It's like, well, it's the only one so far. So.
I would love to release a movie like January 1st, best movie of the year. I'm like, ...
so far.
The highest grossing movie of the year.
I'd put that on my resume. Like, they'd be like, "Oh, what movie was it?" I was like, "This, like, that was the highest grossing movie."
Well, I mean, as of January 1st, 2020, whatever. Yeah, it was.
All right, my recommendation. So this week, I'm trying to think at the same time. I was really bored. And I tried to find lots of, like, for some reason, like, I had the house to myself all week. All my family was gone. And I kept trying to find stuff to watch. And obviously the horror movie was a bust of Hereditary. And I didn't really want to try any other horror movies for some reason. Like, my cravings were just off with media this week. I don't know why. It's like, you have the time now to do things and you're not feeling it. And you're like, ugh, you suck. So I watched a lot of shows for like 10 minutes or maybe one episode, and I kept jumping from show to show to show. I finally picked a show that stuck that I've been watching, and I'm excited to finish it. I will not say it's like my highest recommendation, but it is a good show. Is The Old Man. Have you ever heard of that before?
I've not heard of that before.
I think let me just double check fact check it. Let's see. I wrote it down. Did I wrote it down? Yep. The Old Man.
The Old Man, Jeff Bridges.
Yeah. Jeff Bridges and John Lithgow.
Oh.
And so I'll give you a premise to get you guys all excited for it. So at the very beginning of the first episode, what's his name? Jeff Bridges is essentially like, you can kind of tell he has some background with the like military, CIA or something like that. And John Lithgow is in the FBI currently. He's pretty high up, and they have a relationship. You don't know what the relationship is, but he calls him, he warns him that they're coming to get him, to give him advance notice that he needs to leave. And you find out very shortly that John Lithgow is not only warning him because he's a friend, but because also the knowledge he contains that if he's caught, it could put John Lithgow in serious trouble too. So it's a good story. I like John Lithgow. And you know what? I was watching this and you brought up earlier Third Rock from the Sun. I think John Lithgow might be the most versatile actor that I can think of right now. Because, I mean, he went and did Third Rock from the Sun. He was absolutely hilarious. But, I remember in the movie Cliffhanger, he was a great villain. I think he's been a villain in another movie too. I just can't think of it off the top of my head. And like, I just appreciate all the roles he's ever been in. But I recommend it's a slow burn movie, show, but I think it is still worth watching. And if you get through the first episode, then I think you'll be like, okay, yeah, I can see why to continue watching this. But if it doesn't, because it's slow at the beginning, I feel like you may feel inclined to leave the first episode during it.
I don't know. Interesting. So I'm looking it up on IMDb. It has an average user rating of 7.6. It's, the featured reviews are, dang, now that was a first episode if there ever was one. And then it was, solid spy series. And then somebody said, incredible first 2 episodes. And then superb acting and writing regarding the first 2 episodes. So these were obviously done early on in the series, not as...
Yeah.
So...
Yeah, I guess I forgot about the action in the first episode. I just thought of all the drama. No, there's a ton of action in the first episode. And it's really well done. So I don't know why I'm prepping you for it. It is a good movie. I go back and forth. It's a show. And I think you would enjoy it. I think both you would, but it's I can't wait to see. The one thing I find interesting is they don't, whenever they have a what's it called? What's another word in movies and TVs for spin? Like, like a
transition?
No, not transition. Like why can't I think of it today? When something happens, a reveal, like something you didn't see coming.
Mm-hmm.
What's that called? Why can't I think of it?
Twist?
Yeah, twist. Thank you. When they do twist, there's like, here you go, and they hand it to you very slowly. Like, it's not like dun dun dun. Like, you threw me off guard there.
Unlike 24, when you're just waiting for everybody
Exactly.
to turn, you're just like, it's that person. It's that person. It's the janitor.
Exactly. That's a good example of the polar opposite of this. There's like, here you go. I'm like, oh, that's cool. So, good show. Recommend it. Yeah, please watch. I knew I had it on my list forever to watch, and I'm glad I finally got to it.
Oh, I'm going to have to add that to my watch list.
Okay, my recommendation this week is we're at the end of March Madness for basketball for both men's and women's. Just enjoy the rest of it. I've been enjoying what games I can watch. I think I'm hoping for NC State to go all the way for the men's brackets, and for the women, whatever goes.
Yeah, I'm trying to look it up now where everybody's, because I haven't looked at.
So Purdue's playing against NC State, and then UConn's playing against Alabama.
I'm just looking at the group that
the instant Arizona lost. I lost interest.
It's just fun watching these teams, and like NC State's the lowest seed team. They're like an 11 right now, and they're in the Final Four. So, always root for the underdog, right?
Mm-hmm. Looks like I'm still 7th and 8th in our bracket, and Brett is
dead last.
No, you're 5th, and I'm trying to find. Did you only do one? No, you
I did 2.
5 and 6. You're ahead of me. 5 and 6. Criddle, you're number 4.
Wow.
So I think you only filled out 1. And then my son Jude is 2nd and 3rd, and our dad is 1st.
Wow.
So go enjoy some of the last moments of college basketball. It's ending on Monday, and move on to baseball. And football.
Okay, fine. You know what? I want to give a try. I want to try this new, I don't know how relatively new it is. The new NFL that Dwayne The Rock Johnson is kind of helping along. I don't remember what their league is called, but it's essentially adding football to the spring and summer. So it's like, okay, yeah, I'll watch that. I'll give it a try and see what teams to root for, and if there's anything localish, I'll try that. But hopefully it works out.
Yeah.
All right. Well, have a great week.